Hola amigos. Hello, hello. How are you tonight? ¿Cómo están? Oh, look at that kitten. We, the dead, appreciate all the live creatures. And today, we are going to learn about some of the most horrible, creepy, and terrific stories of my city. Hola, Larry. Do you remember me? I am so happy that someone remembers me and remembers my name. I am Yolanda, your happy ghost from Lima. Vanessa asked me to tell you the stories of my city, the old stories, every time she organizes these meetings. I hope you have a fun and creepy night at the same time with me this evening. Thank you so much for visiting me. I know I am the star of this event. I am a tapada limeña. Tapada means cover. The women of my time used to cover their faces to do naughty things by nighttime. I continue with this tradition, although nowadays people don't do it anymore. They don't need to. In my time, only if you were a cover woman, you could live a free, happy life and do whatever you want. Are you ready to start this visit? Give me a heart, give me a finger, anything you have, just to know that you are ready to begin. And thanks for helping Vanessa to continue doing these activities. I really don't understand what is this of technology, she explained. I am her great-grandmother, and my stories are old as Lima. So let's start. In this occasion, I am taking you to see one of the oldest districts of the city. As you know, my name is Yolanda. I am a happy spirit of the night. My life was not always happy, but I used to travel a lot in my city. Every time I come to different corners of my Lima, I remember stories I heard when I was alive and stories I hear after death. These stories happen in the oldest parts of the city. And today I have some stories I want to share with you. Stories that one close friend of mine, I have a fun time with him always when we meet. He is one of the most interesting spirits that live in Lima. Ricardo Palma, one of the greatest writers of the city. He, a man of great sense of humor and also great interest in the traditions of our city. He put in a book called the Peruvian Traditions many of the stories that he heard. He still likes to share them with us, the spirits of the night, every time we meet. But his spirit is not here in the beautiful Barranco. His spirits live in Miraflores, in his house, which one day I am going to take you to see. Barranco is one of the places where he used to spend his time. It is a zone where sometimes we get to see soldiers, spirits of soldiers who died during the war with Chile. This terrible confrontation that killed about 10% of the citizens of Lima. In this section of the city, there were many kills, many murders of the soldiers from both bands during the occupation days. This is why many neighbors who report paranormal activities, as you call them, actually it's us, the spirits that are lost, that we don't know the time that has passed. We are still here trying to do things right. We are trapped in time. So this is the section where usually most of us, the spirits, walk and move and knock doors and turn on lights. And this is something the neighbors can tell. So today's story, actually I have 5 creepy stories. And these creepy stories were recopilated by the traditionalists, by this friend of mine, Ricardo Palma, who died actually long time ago. He died in the year 1919, and he lived until he was 83 years old. A fun life. He traveled, he enjoyed, but he also liked the horror stories. So some of the stories I'm going to be telling you tonight are stories related with devils and also stories related with saints. So the first story I want to tell you is called the Viudita. What is a viuda? A viuda is a widower. A widower and a person that usually is sad and lost and trapped also in the sadness of losing the one she loves. But this story happened in another city, a city called Arequipa, in a zone that looks quite similar to the one you see here, with old houses and white houses actually. So the story says that long time ago, very close to a hospital, there was a place where the dead were put to be velado. Velado means to rest for 3 nights. So in that way, the family will be praying for the soul of this person. So that is what we call velar. Vela is a candle. So we bring the candle next to the corpse of this person. So that place where the dead were put for these 3 days was considered to be also one of the creepiest of that city. So one night started the reports of an apparition of a entity of a female form that was walking around that section, that scared everybody that was coming around that zone or crossing in front that building. So everybody was afraid and asked the policemen to help. The general in charge of the police station, he said that he would put an end to this situation. He was a very honest man, a very good man. But nobody wanted to be there. Everybody was afraid of this ghost, of this shape. So well, he decided himself to understand what was happening. So he got into this place by nighttime, and he in fact saw the spirit, or this person, this entity of dark veil. So he immediately took out his gun and he said, "Ghost, you have to leave or I'm going to shoot you." So well, in that moment, the ghost, the apparition, ran away, got deeper, close to the box where the dead was, the dead that was that night there. And when he was about to shoot, there was a very young voice coming. "General, General, help me." So the general said, "What is happening? Is this a voice of an old woman or a young lady?" In that moment, this spirit took off his veil or her veil, and he was able to see a young beauty. And he thought, "Oh, if all these spirits in heaven are like this one, please God, take me to the next world." So well, he then said, "Dear lady, how can I help you?" She was not dead, she was alive actually. And she told him the story of her sadness. She impersonated a spirit just because she was angry towards a man who, back in that time, offered his love to her. But once he obtained what he wanted from her, he left. So she asked him to marry her, to do what he offered to her. And he said no. So once she understood things would not change, she was ready to kill him, to take his life. So she knew that he was around that section visiting another lady. She decided to kill him in the act the moment she would see him by nighttime. But well, once this story was known by the general, he said, "My dear lady, no worries. I am going to help you. We have no idea how." But 8 days after, they got married. The man, the handsome gigolo, and the lady. So this story ended up good. Of course, not all of the stories that I'm going to tell you end like this. So look at these lovely houses. These are the houses of the richest families of Lima. By the way, there is one at the end of this street where I come to have a lot of fun, because this is one of the most haunted ones we have in the city. The Casa Sousa. What a party we have there when we the spirits meet. That's why the owners of the house cannot live in there anymore, for all the ghosts that appear in this house. It is known not just as a, let's say, moderated, active house or mansion. Actually, it has the fame of being the home of little devils or goblins. And this is, we don't know exactly why, but you know that as an spirit, I am able to see the little goblins, the little spirits that present to me every time I come. And they said that this zone used to be located very close to an ancient pre-Hispanic temple that was destroyed in the old days. So maybe that's why we have here these presences due to the sacrifices that happened in the pre-Hispanic times in these temples. So this house, it is usually used for, let's say, what you call these movies, right? I think you call them movies, these modern things that you mortals enjoy nowadays. I used to enjoy reading, so that's a different thing. But back then, in that time, this place was also considered in my time an active place of spirits and also goblins, right? So this house, which is now empty of people, also reminds me another story. And this story also is related with a famous man, rich man of the old days of the 17th century of Lima. And my friend Ricardo Palma, he heard this story once and he considered it so interesting that he decided to put it in the book he was writing that became a big success, the Peruvian Traditions, Tradiciones Peruanas. So the story is called Don Dimas de la Tijereta, and that was actually the name of this person. Don is for a gentleman, for a very important man. So we no longer call people Don. We call them maybe Sir. But Don is related with a very important person. So this story is related with the devils, with the devil itself, but also has a really fun ending. So let me tell you this story. So Mr. Dimas de la Tijereta was a very rich man, which was in his 80s. And this gentleman had everything he needed. He had money, he had wealth, but he didn't have a family. He was not able to fall in love, never ever. So in his 80s, he did something that later he would regret. He fell in love of a young lady of 20 years old. The name of this lady was Visitación. So, well, Don Dimas, he tried to purchase all of the different presents he could afford, and even the ones he couldn't. Pearls, different types of jewelry for her to fall for him. She was really not interested in the old Dimas, but she was interested in the presents. So, well, he was sick of being rejected once after the other, and he needed something from her that she was not able to give away. So angry from this disdain, this mistreatment he was receiving, he left the house of this lady and he started sweating in the streets, in a street similar to the one where we are. So, well, he said, for this woman, I would be able to give my almilla in return. So, what is almilla, you might be wondering? Almilla comes from the word alma, which means soul. So, this person said actually that he was able to give his own soul for the lady he wants. His voice was so loud that the very devil, Satan, heard this. And he was so excited about one more soul for him. So he sent his secretary, Lilith, in person to come to talk to Mr. Dimas. So Mr. Dimas immediately saw Lilith presenting to him. And he, the representative of the devil, said, Don Dimas, Here I am ready to give you what you want. And Dimas said, well, this is very interesting. By the way, Dimas was a lawyer, so he knew everything about the laws and the contracts. So he said, oh, that's fantastic. Are you going to give me the love of visitación? And he said, yes, of course. If you're able to give me your almilla, talking about his soul with disdain, right? I will be able to give you the love of visitación for only 3 years. 3 years of love, unconditional, and you then later give me your soul. So well, Don Dimas agreed. He signed up a contract, and the moment he returned to his home, Visitación was there waiting for him in his bed. She was ready for love. So the years passed very fast. Actually, he did not imagine how fast life could pass. But then months passed and the 3rd year came. And the devil presented right on time. So Mr. Dimas knew that it was, of course, the time to offer his almilla. So the devil said, well, Mr. Dimas, it's time to take you to the hell. And Don Dimas said, okay, I was waiting for this moment to come. So he started to undress, and he took his clothes off. And Lilith said, Mr. Dimas, you don't need to take your clothes off, because I can take you in the way you are dressed up. And Dimas said, no, if I don't undress, I cannot pay you. So well, he awaited Lilith, and then after 1 minute, the clever Mr. Dimas offered him an underwear garment that he had inside. And the devil, the Lilith, said, what are you giving me? Oh, my dear Secretary Lilith, I am giving you my almilla. So he said, excuse me, but almilla, your soul, right? No. Almilla in the dictionary is the clothes that you use. This is the almilla. So in that moment, Lilith started to scream and got very angry. And he took Don Dimas to the devil's office and said, this man don't want to pay with his soul. And Mr. Dimas said, Mr. Devil, if you look in the dictionary, what I said and what I offer was an underwear piece. So the devil looked at the dictionary, and he in fact realized that this was true. So Dimas was such a clever person, but the story ends a little bit sad for Dimas, because years after he returned to this world of the alive people, but he had to pass. So when he died, he went to the doors of heaven. And in the doors of heaven, nobody wanted to receive him, because he was actually not a very good person. He did pact with the devil. So well, he then turned and went in direction to the hell. And when he approached to the doors of hell, he saw a sign in which said, we don't receive lawyers. So Don Dimas is walking here in this city, and he cannot go anywhere. He cannot go to heaven. He cannot go to hell. He's such a fun person, by the way, but he got what he wanted, right? So I am here outside in the limb, Exactly. I am here outside a church because the church that you see here, which is the Church of San Francisco, I am actually very devoted to San Francisco. Most Peruvians are. The Franciscans are so respected. But before the church, you see here, in this very same place, we used to have an old temple of the Incas. So this temple that nowadays is gone was one of the many that also are creating this supernatural, as you call, right, presences. These are old ghosts, old spirits. So, how are you liking the stories? Would you like another one? I have some that I have prepared for you. I would love to know if you want another story from my friend Ricardo Palma. Gracias. Thank you. Thank you. So now let's go with another story. And this story is called The Alacrán of Fray Gomez. So the alacrán is like a little bug. Actually, can you help me? Or who can tell me in your language, in English, what is an alacrán? I would like to know if it's an scorpion or not. Alacrán. So the alacrán, the scorpion, I think it is. Muy bien. Gracias, Holly. So it's a poisonous creature, right? So who was Fray Gomez? Fray Gomez was a saint man. A saint man that was so good that he's not in the limbo. He's not in this world of in between the heavens and the hell. He's right there in the heaven with God and Jesus. So Fray Gomez was a person who used to do lots of miracles. Once, for example, a person in front of him that was riding a horse fell from the horse, broke his head, and he was actually dying in front of Fray Gomez. And Fray Gomez took his habit, the cord in his habit, put it in his mouth, and immediately the man stood up as nothing had happened to him. So he did many prodigies, many miracles, but he didn't want people to be, let's say, too nice to him, like saying, oh, you're fantastic, you're awesome. He was a true humble man, a true saint. So, well, the story says that one day, a man in really bad condition, very, very bad economical condition. He needed money. Nobody wanted to lend him money. So he needed money to be lended, Mr. Antonio. And everybody closed the doors to him. He had a family. He had a business idea. So, well, everybody knew about the fame of our saint man, Fray Gomez. But he was the poorest man ever. He had not a coin. So Antonio, still with the big faith he had, he went to our saint. And he asked him for money. So Fray Gomez said, my dear friend, I don't have a coin. How can I help you with money? You can see my self is very poor. So Antonio said, my dear paternity, my dear father, if you say that I will have the money, I believe it because you're a saint man. You make miracles. Oh no, my dear Antonio, God is the one that makes the miracles. So Antonio said, but I believe that if you say it, it will happen. Okay, he said, your faith will help you and save you. So, well, a scorpion was walking up in his humble self. It was walking up, 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 like if we were seeing it here. So the scorpion was walking, and then Fray Gomez took it and put it in a piece of paper. And he said to Antonio, take this little piece of jewelry to the person that lends money, and get the money you need, the 500 pesos that you need, golden pesos, and use this money in your business. And in 6 months, I need this piece of jewelry back. So, well, Antonio saw that that was just a simple scorpion, but he believed in the words of Fray Gomez and went in direction to the prestamista, the person that lends money. And he said, with the paper closed, fold, I want to give you this piece of jewelry for 500 golden pesos. So this person opened the piece of paper, and he saw a beautiful brooch, a beautiful jewelry piece with diamonds and rubies. And he immediately offered, I can give you 2,000 golden coins if you wish, right away. Of course, this person knew that if he gave these 2,000 coins, this poor man will never be able to give back that money. So Antonio said, no, I just want 500. So, well, the story continues 6 months after, when he became very, very rich, wealthy after this business he did. And he returned to the prestamista and paid for the 500 coins that he received, right, lended. And here the story divides in two. One story says that indeed he returned the scorpion to Fray Gomez in the same piece of paper that he was given, and Fray Gomez took out the scorpion and just came up, walking to the wall. The other one says that Antonio kept the jewelry as he saw it so beautiful, and that same night it bit him and killed him. So this is the story of the scorpion or alacran of Fray Gomez. I am trying to find our friend Antonio to know the true story, but I haven't been able to see him. Look at this mural. We have different spirits trapped from the past. Of course, that some of them will not be familiar to you, but I see Chabuca Granda over here, Martina Dan, and great Peruvian writers and composers. And I think this gentleman over here is our friend of tonight, Ricardo Palma, which in this image shows his importance, and also that he is one of the spirits of the night of this city. We have also another story, and this story is called Don or Fray Juan Sin Miedo. Fray Juan Sin Miedo, Fray is a friar, Juan, John, Sin Miedo, the one that is not afraid of anything. So Fray John was actually not a Peruvian boy. He was a Spanish boy. And he came to Peru when he was very, very young. Peru was a place of opportunities in that time. We're talking about the 18th century. He came from Spain, from Extremadura. And he was a very smart boy, but he was what we call in Spanish a pendenciero. This is an old word, actually. People don't use it anymore. But I think you will say it in English as quarrelsome or rowdy. So a person that likes the fights, a person that likes to be in trouble, has very bad temper. So this young man got in trouble in several occasions, and in one of these occasions, he was almost trapped by the police to be put in jail. So the only thing he had to do at the end to escape from the justice was going into a monastery. And in the monastery, he found the peace he was not able to find in the streets. So he liked the life in the monastery. But he still was a pendenciero. He still was a fighter, a person that liked the troubles. So his brothers, his Augustinian brothers, thought he would find a way to change. They were praying for that. So one night, and thank you, Carrie and Larry. Muchas gracias. So one night, the man of our story, Juan, was asked to go to a funeral, to velar un muerto. Velar is to spend the night time with the dead, with a candle, while the family is away resting. So the tradition is that always there were 2 friars doing this. So in that way, one that was sleeping for a while could relax, and the other one will be awakened. So praying. So the story says that, the brother in the faith of Juan needed to rest, so he slept in the only bed that was available, while the other one was supposed to be awakened. But Juan had his temper, so he wanted to sleep, but there was nowhere where to sleep. So he saw the dead in his bed, in his space where it was velado, almost like a coffin, but more like a bed. And he saw this dead so relaxed, and he said, well, my dear dead, you are having the dead asleep, but I am dying to sleep. I need to sleep a little bit. So he moved the dead a little bit because he had a very bad temper, He was a fighter. He had no fear for the dead. And he rested next to the dead. So a little bit after that, the dead are angry for this terrible treatment he received by this friar. He waked up, standed, and started to move Friar Juan. So the friar woke up, but also keeping his cool. He asked to the dead, sorry, dear dead, why you are standing like that? we can sleep together. Come here. Or are you having some business unsolved? The dead was so angry, took a candle and threw it to the head of the poor John, almost killing him. In the act, the other brother woke up and saw the dead in the floor and couldn't understand what happened. The story continues like this. The other friar, seeing that this was a very strange story, made a little writing about it, in which he finished the story saying that since that moment on, Juan Sin Miedo, Friar Juan Sin Miedo, became the one that was afraid, the most humble soul, the most peaceful soul. He was remembered as the one who feared. This is, by the way, the house of one of the most famous writers of Barranco. This is the house of Jose Maria Eguren, also known as one of the most active houses, spiritually talking, in Barranco, in which the doors open and close, in which there are sounds of steps. Definitely one of the most scary houses of Lima to be in for you, the alive people. But for me, I am spirit only. Oh, the doggies like to bark to the spirits. That's why they are barking me. So, as I am a spirit, I like to come to these places to have fun and meet some friends. And I have one last story because, I had 5 stories for you. Devil dogs, yes. Actually, I like better the cats. The cats like me more, actually. They, especially the black ones, they are the ones that I love the most. So, we are now in the last story. Are you ready for the last story? This one is a creepy one. It's the story that has a title. The title is Maria Marimacha. This is a title in Spanish. And the story is about Maria. Maria was a young girl. She was very, very badly behaved. In Spanish, Marimacha is related with a girl that is a tomboy. So she liked to be with boys. She liked to play with boys. She liked to do all the things the boys like to do. But her family was very traditional, didn't want her to play with the marbles. So, Maria actually had a very bad temper. And one day, Maria was asked to her mom to go to do some groceries. So she was given 20 soles and a little list to buy groceries. So she needed to bring oil. She needed to bring a condiment that is made from dry, dehydrated chilies, red chilies, and beef heart. So, Maria was a girl that had a problem of gambling. So she was going in direction to the market and saw her friends playing with marbles. So, she said, "Oh, can you wait for me? I want to play with you all. And they said, you can just play if you bet money. So she said, okay, I have 20 soles. Let's bet. So she believed she will win all. Actually, she lost all the money. And then she was afraid. What I'm going to do, she said. So well, she believed herself being very smart. And she needed to find alternatives to bring things to her mom. So she saw a bottle of oil empty. And what she did, you would not like, but you just have to use your imagination. She used a liquid that is yellowish that we humans produce to fill in the bottle with something that would look like oil. What a naughty girl she is in hell in this moment. Then after, she saw a brick. And the brick she cut in little pieces. She ground it and she put in a little bag as if it was the condiment that looked exactly the same like the one her mom needed. And then after, she needed the heart. So what are you going to be given instead of the beef heart? The mother of Maria needed to cook anticuchos, which are shish kebabs made from beef heart. So well, she thought, I remember my uncle who died just 2 days ago is still fresh in the cemetery. So he doesn't need his heart. I think I can take the heart of my uncle. So she went to the cemetery and with a knife, she opened a gap in the cemetery and she opened the coffin and took the heart of her uncle. So well, she had everything, right? She returned to her home and she offered all the products to her mom. So her mom was angry because it was late, but they started to cook anyway. At the time everything was served, she was like, ugh, I don't want to eat that, ew. But all the family started to eat everything, like saying this is the most delicious thing ever. Oh my God, what a beautiful food. She just said, I'm sorry, I don't feel right. I'm going to my bed. And she went to her bed to sleep. Later that night, she woke up, but nobody was home. There was a note next to her bed in which her mom said, we went off for doing some shopping. We are going to be back soon. So Maria decided to go back to sleep, but then she started to hear the sounds of the steps of someone that was coming up to where her room was in the second floor. Tuk, 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 tuk. Maria, Maria Marimacha. Tuk, tuk, tuk. Maria started to cry because she couldn't recognize that voice first, but then she realized it was the voice of her uncle. Maria, Maria Marimacha, give me back my heart. Maria started to shake and cry and call Mommy, but Mommy was not there. She hid in her closet, but at last the spirit came to her, opened the doors of the closet, and took her. About an hour after, Mommy returned to home, And when she was about to open the door, she heard a scream. So she opened immediately the door, went to the second floor, and saw Maria hairless in her closet. This is the story of Maria Marimacha and the story of her missing heart, which actually was taken by the spirit of her uncle. This is, of course, what we will call karma, ladies and gentlemen. This is karma. So, I hope you had a fun evening and terrific evening with me. I hope you enjoy these stories. You enjoy these horror stories, these creepy stories, the stories of the devil, the stories of the saints, the stories of the night. And thank you so much to the spirit of my dear friend Ricardo Palma, who accompanied us in this event in the streets of Barranco. It's been a pleasure to be again with you. Thank you for visiting me again, and thank you so much for coming. So, see you soon. Thanks a lot. Take care. Maybe I'm going to be visiting you tonight in your homes. Who knows? This is your favorite spirit, Yolanda from Lima. See you soon. Bye-bye. Gracias. Gracias. Thank you. Gracias, Larry. See you soon. And now, I am going to sleep again. Thanks for helping Vanessa with your tips. Hope to see you soon. Vanessa is going to be doing some tours tomorrow in my favorite part of Lima, downtown Lima. So try to join if you have the time.